It's your boy Bleed. Everybody listen up. Let's get it. I'm trying to put money in your pocket. That crypto wallet. That bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right. 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 Party, I'm a real go-getter. Rock a fur coat, but it's not chinchilla. Who's that dude with the master plan? It's Mr. Pinecone with the mic in my hand. I ball on a budget, got a bag full of nuggets. Living life to the fullest before I'm kicking the bucket. No time for the haters, I'm the meat and potatoes. I'm the product of Anunnaki and godly invaders. You wanna go down the rabbit hole? Well, come along with me. Let me phone home. Let me take you on the trip to the Pleiades or the Seven Seas. We can sail them all. Bring your dungarees and your toothbrush, your knapsack. We'll have a nightcap, then I'll bring you back. Mr. Pinecone's come a long, long way, so everybody get sideways. Sing it. I can't wait till Friday. Everybody's getting sideways. Pass the bottle back my way. Everybody's getting sideways.
What in the absolute fuck is going on, everybody? The market is going crazy right now in a bad way. And USA, you had one goddamn job. You had one job, United States. Just don't screw everything up, right? And what did the USA say? Hold my beer. My name is Bleaves. This is Breakfast with Bleaves, and we are in what can only be described as another United States shithole. Now, it may not end up as bad as I'm saying right now. I just did that for dramatic effect. But let's move on and let's look at the pre-markets. You can see right here, the pre-markets are now down 364 very, very rapidly. Now down 370. The S&P is down 50 points and the NASDAQ is down 172. And why, you may ask? Because USA people are assholes. Let's get into the news and let's see what's going on. We're going to make this quick because we got important stuff to talk about. All right. So we're trying to create a recession here. We're trying to say things are just horrible and we hate life. And, we're trying to make all of this stuff bad. And guess what? Jobless claims continue to go down. So what does that mean? That means the next step is stock futures fell Thursday as interest rates jumped, with Federal Reserve officials signaling interest rate hikes to slow inflation are far from over. And they came out and they said that James Bullard on Thursday said the policy rate is not yet in a zone that may be considered sufficiently restrictive. Now, that's not a surprising thing. We already knew that that was going to be the case, but we also saw softening of the inflation numbers. What we didn't see, however, were Treasury yields. Treasury yields jumped to 4.42% Thursday morning. So things are starting to we're getting to the point right now where it's make or break time. And we're going to find out what goes on very, very quickly and very, very rapidly. But before we move on to the next one, which is the trading volume or something like that, I got a commercial. Let me do that one more time. I got a commercial. We have a commercial here, and it is for one of the big launches that is coming to the communities, and it is the launch of Voltichange. Without further ado, here you go. All right, guys, when you mix up holy with shit, you get holy shit, and holy shit. There we go. We have a new decentralized exchange on the block, and guess what this world needs? DeFi exchanges. And this one, always your keys, always your crypto, so you don't have to worry about DeFi. DeFi doesn't go out of business. Those centralized exchanges like FTX and the people who are out here moving and shaking and stealing your money left and right, you don't have to worry about that because you are holding your crypto in your own DeFi wallet. You don't have to worry about all of these scumbags and pricks out here trying to steal from you. What you get is you get your wallet, you put your wallet up to the Voltichange, and then you can make whatever transactions that you want to make, and it supports all ERC-20 and BEP-20 tokens, and 0.2%, I'm sorry, 0.25% of every transaction will burn those tokens. So if you have on ERC-20 or BEP-20, if you have something like SHIB, and SHIB, you make a SHIB purchase, 0.25% of the SHIB that you purchase is going to be immediately burned, and then 0.25% of the fee that's generated from that transaction will go towards buyback and burn of Volt Inu tokens. So not only does Volt become hyper deflationary at this point, but now we have a situation in which if we just get the SHIB community over here, guess what? We're burning your tokens for you, bro. So just keep trading over here on this platform. If you want to burn your tokens now and you don't have a burn mechanism in place, guess what? We made one. And that's all I got to say about that. So now we're going to move on because we're going to talk about Volt because I got more for Volt. But we're going to move on right now. We got to get back to some of the news and what is going on this planet. First of all, so the crypto market is down to a volume of about $54 billion in the 24-hour window. Market cap $822 billion, and you can just see here there's just kind of a run in the last 24 hours to the downside, but it's not tremendous at this point. We're looking at Ethereum at 1191. It's only down 1.43%, so it's not a lot, but it is downward motion, it's downward pressure, and it looks like this thing is just, you know, it looks like we're kind of reaching the bottom. And listen, when we get to the bottom, there's nowhere to go but up. So finding that bottom should be really paramount to what we do. You can see here Polygon down 2.5%, Solana down 4.5%, and Solana froze Binance. Look, Binance, that I keep telling you, CZ is not a good guy. I keep telling you that CZ is not a good guy. One of CZ's competitors is USDT and USDC. So what did CZ do today? He suspended trading from Solana for USDT and USDC. Why? Because he wants you to buy BUSD and he wants you to put the money over there into his stablecoin, and he's trying to make it more difficult and complicated for you to do that. So don't trust this man. At some point, I'm going to be right. Right now, I might not be, but at some point, I'm going to be right. Also, you can see here, we're just kind of in the red everywhere. There's downward motion. BNB is down bigger than everybody else right now, and there's been a run on BNB. Remember, this was around 300 a couple days ago, and we've been talking about it. It just seems like we can't get that forward motion like we would normally get in BNB. So it's a little bit weird, but we'll keep an eye on it, and we'll see what happens. Is it game over for Bitcoin? Now, let me go back here because there were two articles that I wanted to do, and they were back to back, and I just deleted one because I have a new mouse, and this new mouse is really a whole lot better than my old mouse, but it's pretty hypersensitive on everything, and I haven't worked out all the buttons yet because I got a lot of buttons. But it was brought to light that the Ethereum Foundation, and I don't give a shit about this at all, like I really don't, because I think it's actually good for all of us in the short term. But it says it was brought to light that the Ethereum Foundation took down Ether's staking withdrawal schedule on social media. Ethereum staking withdrawals were expected to be opened about 6 months following the merge. Right after the merge occurred, the network affirmed that it would open within the next 6 to 12 months. While the community was eagerly awaiting this, the foundation extended this to somewhere between 2023 to 2024. With constant revisions in the schedule, and finally its abrupt removal the community was enraged. So that's what we're dealing with right now in Ethereum. And that's why there's a little bit of downward pressure, but not everybody experiences that because not everybody has their Mount Gox type stake sitting there where they're going to get a whole bunch of Ethereum at one point and then just wreck the market by getting rich, son. So, hold that shit forever for all I care. At present, Bitcoin's dominance stands at a low of 38.5%, while ETH stands at 17.7%. But people are going to be annoyed. Look, this right here, you can see this is what happened right here. This is when FTX sold all of their stuff and we recovered. This is the downward sort of pressure because of the negativity in the market, and we're going to recover. So everything is going to be fine. Just have a little patience, relax. But I don't care when they release this stuff. To me, the merge isn't completed until we get sharding, because that will reduce the transaction fees, et cetera, et cetera. So that's when I would think you would do it, like 6 months later. So that's just my opinion. And I'm always right. So y'all should listen. Is it game over for Bitcoin? Now, this is not literally the market saying, is it game over? There is a cycle in Bitcoin where it hits what would be just defined as that rock bottom area from which everything starts to explode from. The market conditions has seemingly stabilized. On one hand, the global crypto market cap noted a mere 1.2% downward deviation over the past day. On the other, Bitcoin shed only 0.5% of its value in the same time frame. Now, that's key because Bitcoin usually leads the market. And if the market is dumping, but Bitcoin's not, something new is happening. When the market is struck in sustained bearish periods, participants' trust gradually starts eroding away and fear starts getting instilled. Such has been the case lately, too. The current reading of the F&G index points towards extreme fear, confirming the said narrative. Popular commenter Stock Money Lizards recently took to Twitter to claim that Bitcoin is currently in its game over phase. Now, this is what game over looks like. And let's check this out. This is how these cycles are running, okay? So the last time they hit game over, that started that next bull run. And then that took us into cycle 2, and that was that downward momentum. And then it was game over again, and then we took off. And then it was around here, then we had double dips. If you remember, this was the last market, the last big run up, and then we hit game over here, and then the same thing. Then we had our little blow off top, institutional blow off top here. But you can see right here, these guys are even smart enough that they understand like what I've been saying this whole time. And I'm going to point it out because I don't have boundaries. So right here, that's April of 2021. They started the fourth cycle at that point because that was the end of the bull market. Now that puts us over here. This is that institutional pump that we got that took us up to some all-time highs, right? Now, here we are in this area, and they are saying that here we are. We hit game over. And if you look over here, there, when we hit game over, right there. When we hit game over, right there. When we hit game over, right there. And from there, it's been upwards ever since. So this is telling us that we are in let's get fucking sent mode. Now, this is a yearly chart, by the way. So when you look at this, just because we're there doesn't mean that money's just going to start printing. It just means that we're going to start getting better as we go, because that's the way it looks. That's what the money men are telling us right now. So you can see it here. It's very clear that these cycles have perpetuated. Every single time these cycles have perpetuated. And if you don't see it on your chart, by the way, it's because you're not using a logarithmic chart. If you use the logarithmic chart, which you can use on TradingView, by the way, by going down here to the this right here and changing it to logarithmic. That's what I've been using for a little while. And this is the regular. You'll just notice a different variation, especially on long-term charts. So that's the reason. So it's game over right now, which means that it is time for this thing to start pumping. It'll be a slow process, by the way, because that thing plays itself out a different way. And you notice the circles, by the way, get a little bit tighter and a little bit tighter because we're getting higher and higher and higher and higher. So when we look here at this, by the way, we're looking at 3 trillion market cap over here. This thing is looking at when we hit a max over here, which should be like right in this area. We're talking about a $5 to $6 trillion market cap at that point or more. And finally, FTX, FTX bankruptcy filing highlights complete failure of corporate controls. This thing has just been an entire disaster. John Ray, I think his name is, came out yesterday and said that Sam Bankman-Fried just needs to shut the fuck up and stop talking, because he is basically incriminating himself and saying just all kinds of crazy shit on Twitter, which he should not be saying, because he is telling everybody all of the ways that he failed, some of them criminal. So, I mean, you know, if this guy wants to put himself in jail, let him put himself in jail. He's going to find that, hey, look, he's going to find a really big, really aggressive Caroline Ellison when he gets to jail, and they're going to make boyfriend and other boyfriend. But it's okay. It's not gay if it's prison. You know what I mean? And then over here, we've got First Mover Americas. Guess what? Binance.us is now making another run at Voyager Digital. So a person familiar with the plans, the defunct crypto exchange FTX emerges a white knight for Voyager. So now, remember, Binance was intending to do its diligence and signed a letter of intent, looked at FTX and said, nope, no chance. But Voyager, however, Voyager seems like an attractive option, and it looks like Binance might be making a run on Voyager. But as this starts to develop and as we start to see it, then, you know, we'll have more on that as soon as we get it. But now let's move on. We're going to look at a little bit of technical analysis and see what we see on the charts, and we're going to be popping around. All right, guys, total crypto market cap tanked, by the way, just tanked in the last couple of hours, but still seems to be just kind of right there. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems kind of right there. Like, we've created these little channels here that we're trading in. So, you know, it's getting real tight. It's getting. So here's the thing. If this is the bottom right here, if we can work under the premise that this actually was the bottom, and not this one right here, but this one right here, this is the bottom, then what we're doing right now means that we should probably break towards that upside, that we should have a little momentum going. Now, according to the way this chart is laid out, we have more downside to go. Now, the question is it just a minimal drawdown and a final capitulation before we bounce, or are we literally in the shit right now? But just for your reference here, guys, because I missed them, I put the EMAs back up here. This is the 200-day. Then we have the green one, which is the 10-day, which generally speaking, if the 10-day goes over the 50-day, then we're going up, right? So you can see right here that it looks like it's pointing down. So we probably got more downside to go as we start to mint candles. But you can look around on each one of the charts. You can see it's not really getting better. Maybe on that 3 minute, maybe we're starting to see it close a little bit. We might even see it on the 1 minute that so it might start popping close on the one. But as you look around here on all of these charts, you can see that, you know, we got to get a long way. We got a long way to go to start to get to that real rally point. Now, Bitcoin, again, holding up surprisingly well when we look at the rest of the market and what's been happening over here, but it's still in exactly the channel that we've been kind of looking at. It's been on the top side of the channel, but it's still in the channel, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, if it's in the channel, it's in the channel, right? So we can expect a drop of Bitcoin maybe down to 16,000 today as the market weighs, you know, some of the issue. And we can go look, by the way, for anybody at the pre-market and see that it's up to 372. So it seems like they've now priced in or are about to price in whatever it is that they think about the Fed comments, et cetera, et cetera. Now, anybody who thought or said that they think that the Fed is done is fooling you. We knew it was going to be 50 basis points in December. We already knew certain things, but we're seeing enough positives in the economy that they can't clamp down. They just absolutely can't clamp down. So, you know, we're going to get 50 basis points in December, and then, you know, we'll see from there. I don't think they meet in January. I think it's February again that they meet. So we may not get anything in January, but we'll get it in February. And then I believe it's October of next year that we will start to see a drawdown, or at least that was the earliest that anybody anticipated a drawdown. So, we got a long way to go. So this reactionary stuff, this is just Jeets doing Jeet shit. But anyway, so we're in this channel, maybe have a drawdown to 16,000. But it seems like, once we get to these points, like there's a fight. So, and that fight's moving to the upside. So if we hit down here, it's going to be 16,000 and we should be bouncing back up. Maybe this channel is getting too tight. We might have another breakdown, but we'll see what happens. Now, Ethereum has broken out of that channel to the downside, and you can see it right there. So this is probably the result of what's going on with the Ethereum Foundation and a lot of people wanting their Ethereum in order to sell it in the open market, which, I mean, fair enough. I mean, I don't care if they I don't care if they hold it forever, so that it doesn't get dumped on the market. But it is somebody else's money, and they shouldn't be holding on to it. So we'll see how that plays out over the course of the day. Luna Classic, we are looking at the same thing. We're looking at it breaking to the downside, but we based our candle off of an actual settled position, and we based our candle off of a predictable sort of run here. So if we use if we were to use the same logic that we used over here and hold it down here, then we're probably, it probably works out perfectly. So, maybe that's the right number there. So we're not breaking to the downside yet. We're also not breaking upward. And it's, at some point, we're going to find out. We're going to find out pretty soon. USTC, we're looking at that, and it's just, Dogecoin, same thing. We're really just looking at these. Everything is kind of moving in the same pattern. The exceptions to that, XRP, which is moving in that pattern, but you can see this is more like the ascending sort of triangle instead of the descending triangle, or the ascending triangle instead of the descending triangle. So it's a little bit different, but generally speaking, it's still going to break the same way, just a different probability of which direction it's going to go. And then Quant, where in the fuck did Quant go? And then we have Quant over here. Quant's kind of doing the same thing, but again, you can see like there's a lot more positivity in the push on Quant. So with that being said, let's move on to this over here, and you can see on these charts right now, yen is up 73% on the day at 85.90. So if you got in, when I said that yesterday, I made a post yesterday night, and it had not pumped. So if you're up 70% this morning, you're welcome. Volt is up 11.7%, 1825. And by the way, we just updated on Volt the number of exchanges, and that number of exchanges went up to 60. Well, in the meantime, we now have Byte that said that they're going to start trading on 1124, and we've got ChainX, which is going to start trading on 1123. So 61 and 62, and then one more on Milton of Terrarium. And look, you can like or not like Milton, doesn't matter to me. They have decided to reschedule the TerraPay official pooling to the 7th of January, and that is probably the best move of the available moves that they had to make their play, because people were not happy with the fact that that they were opening up a different token after stating that they were going to stick with one token, even though there were real technological reasons that they had to do that. So that they're gonna launch the Terrarium exchange. They're gonna focus on Terrarium exchange until January 7th, and then they'll work on that. So we certainly appreciate this. And I think that people are still going to bitch and moan and cry, because that's what people do, but at least they're making a move in a positive direction. So Terra trading at 58.08, Lillian up to 28.28, 28.26. Damn, couldn't even see that. Ain't that a bitch? Hulk, MMA, everything's really just kind of trending here. Trump is still down even more, 23.97. It's almost like it's the election. It's down below where it started. Just like his approval ratings. Look, you can say what you want, but Ron DeSantis should be the face of that party at this point, because things are not going good. Maybe we need a DeSantis token. Lit is at 26.76 right now on a dip. But remember, the last time I called a dip over here, it went up 40%. And I think that it might start to run again. And DeConnect, if you want to know how to educate yourself, if you want to know how to read charts, if you want to know how to get better at doing your own technical analysis and figuring out patterns and seeing what it is that you see on charts, if you want to, then go to deconnect.com and you will get trained by me. I'm going to show you what's up. You know what I mean? Deconnect.com. You come over here and you can do these educational courses. By the way, spoiler alert, I do have the history. I'm working on history right now, and I just did the history of Bitcoin, and I did the history of Dogecoin. Next up, I think, is the history of SHIB and the history of Ethereum, and then we might start working through history courses for a while, just to kind of provide more content so that you guys can earn crypto while taking tests and learning a little bit about your favorite pastime, which is cryptocurrency. So if you haven't already, signed up at deconnect.com. That was not financial advice. And so that takes us to chat. So let's get into it. And I hope everybody is excited about Voltichange, because damn, it's going to get serious. All right, Richard, first of all, thank you for the $20 bomb. Believes what I like your videos because you're not constantly clickbaiting people with just bad news. I think they are dragging the market down further. Last I saw, dollar was down, which means we should show some gain. We will. And as a matter of fact, it's very important that you pointed that out, even though I didn't, because we're not at that point right now, because there's been this strong correlation between the weakening of the dollar. And as the dollar gets weaker, the more crypto is kind of pumping, right? Well, we do have a weaker DXY, but in the last few hours, it pumped enormously. It went from like 106 to 107. It went up $1 in like short order. And that just looked like everything just kind of wrecked. And by the way, we are actually on the clock right now. The market, the Dow Jones is about to open, and we're going to see exactly where it is. But I appreciate your comment, and I appreciate the $20. And yeah, I look, this market, this space needs to recognize good stuff and bad stuff. And there's always going to be bad stuff. There's always bad actors. There's always bad players in this space. But the good players should be recognized too, because it's very important. So, but anyway, were you guys excited about Voltichange? Because look, I really think this kind of revolutionizes. I think it really kind of revolutionizes everything that we've been looking for. We don't want a centralized exchange. We don't want somebody else. And look, if you're on a centralized exchange, if you put your money into a centralized exchange, then you don't own your crypto. You've given your crypto to somebody else, and they are trading for you. Now, you might be doing the legwork, like you might be clicking the buttons to make the trade, but you're making the trade using your tokens that somebody else is holding for you. And they're like, bro, we got you, man. And they're doing it for you. If you've ever tried to trade, I want to say like on Coinbase, if you ever traded on Coinbase and you've ever looked at something, you've ever said, okay, so I want to buy this token right now because this chart says that it's trading for 5 cents. And then you make the trade. And then by the time the trade is done on Coinbase, you see that you paid like 5.5 cents. And you're like, why am I paying 5.5 cents when that trade was at 5 cents? And it's because they're doing it off chain and they're charging you fees and they're just dicking you over. You're like those kind of places are not your friend. Look, take your money out from there, put your money in from there. And that's it. Otherwise, I think somebody mentioned, because I asked a question on Twitter, like, what are we going to do going forward with centralized exchanges? Because they're obviously not trustworthy. Not at this point. They're not trustworthy. And then somebody said day trading. So maybe they'll start to convert over to day trading. But here's what I would say. If you are listening to me and paying attention right now, and you do have something on centralized exchange, don't use a centralized exchange that loans money out or pays a super high APY. They cannot afford what they're doing. They cannot afford it. Now, one other piece to that is we're in the bottom of the bear cycle. So when we really start to get on a bull run, and we will, once we hit 1.2, 1.5 trillion market cap, once we start to see a big surge in crypto, then go ahead and do it for a little while. You know what I mean? Because they're going to be flush with cash at that point, and we're in a bull cycle. But when we get to the bear cycle, don't touch any of them. That's the way this works. And by the way, you guys are talking about Polygon right now. Polygon is an Ethereum protocol. So if Polygon does good, Ethereum does good, just so you guys know. Metaverse popping soon. I don't know that the metaverse is going to pop soon. I keep looking at metaverse, and let's leave over here and let's go to the metaverse. Metaverse has just been struggling. Like, the market cap on metaverse is 4.2 billion, even though I expect more. You can look here on the 7 days, though, by the way, and you can see that there are some: Blackpool, NFT Worlds, Onston, DeFi Kingdom, Magic, Avagachi, Axie Infinity. There are some of them that are up in the 7 days. Like, it's not like they're dead, but there's not a huge, there's not a huge pump anywhere. There's the big pump out here, Voltichange. I think Volt is up 300%. Is that right? I don't even know what that is. All right. So, oops, VOLT. Volt is now up to number 208 in on CoinGecko. So you can see that it's starting to get serious. They are starting to really, really show out. Volume $5.1 million in the last 24 hours. I wonder how many markets this is showing. Look at this. This is the exchanges. This is the tracked exchanges that Volta's listed on. DigiFinex is just going out of control right now. I still have some on BitGet too, by the way. I was trading for 5. All right, so I should have $1,500 or something like that on BitGet right now. By the way, I was contacted by Bybit. I decoupled, by the way. If you didn't see below, in the descriptions of my videos, I decoupled from OKX and MEXC. I took my money, and I appreciate everybody who signed up for them. But I took my money out, and I said, I'm not coupling with any of you guys until I see proof of reserves. So I was contacted by Bybit. I guess I shouldn't show you my private emails, but I was contacted by Bybit, and Bybit agreed that they will partner with me. And they will show proof of reserves. And I told them that, I would be interested when the time comes and you're doing proof of reserves and you can show me, then I would absolutely be interested in doing a partnership. And then they offered some kind of, they offered me something, but I'm trying to get that $50,000 a month money from FTX, son. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. That is absolutely bonkers to me that anybody would pay. That's out of control. That's out of control. Milton is SBI. I disagree with that. I don't understand most of the time the open level of disrespect that people have for the guy. And I understand that there are some reasons that make that make people nervous, but like I was trying to say, I don't. That's just drama for the sake of drama. And all you're doing when you're doing that is shitting on everybody else who might be a friend of yours that's invested. And, that's, I don't know. I've done it before. So, I'm just giving you my opinion right now. I probably shit on a project in a month or two. Who knows? But I think that they're learning on the job just like everybody else. There is no look, as we see, the only people in crypto are for the most part, bad actors who've been there for a long period of time. We're not talking about a bunch of great people that want to start new projects. You start a new project because you have an idea and you have something that you believe in, and you go with it. And it's a learn on the job process for a lot of people, and he's learning on the job, and he's not always learning. He's not doing it to his best advantage sometimes. That's what I'll say. But he'll learn. He'll stop engaging with these people. He'll stop fighting the whiners. You know what I mean? Like they'll stop crying. He'll stop crying. It'll all be fine. Actually, I can tell you what their logic was. TerraPay has never been in their ecosystem, was not part of their ecosystem, and it still will be integrated into their ecosystem. But the whole idea behind doing it was because they didn't have very many options, and they can't use the Terra token because there's no way that on their contract they can do that. Like for what they wanted to do with TerraPay, they couldn't do it with the Terra token. So that should be the end of it. He shouldn't have said what he said in March 28th of 2022. I mean, that's fair enough. If you don't like that part, cool. But to be mad at them for enhancing and upgrading an ecosystem just seems kind of wrong-headed to me. They did, by the way, stop doing what they're doing until after January so that they have a chance to launch the Terrarium exchange. So, at least something positive is being done for wherever they are. I got some more Volt and SHIB today. Nice. I had Volt since the beginning, one day after Pablo. Okay, so I got in maybe a couple days after Pablo. So, and I got in with just a low amount, and my amount's like 14 grand right now. You know what I mean? Like I had a little bit, and now I got a lot. What's better, BNB Volt or ERC-20 Volt? ERC-20, son. It's all about ERC-20. But also, either one of them is going to be good. Only put 400 in. I put like 150 in, and I ended up like 14 grand right now. So, Volt has averaged around 18% per day for the past 2 weeks. Yeah, it's just been an enormous run. And remember, just so you guys understand, when we're talking about Volt, we are talking about these guys are the purpose behind Volt is a long-term hodl and the apple tree. If you don't know what the apple tree analogy is, go look up the apple tree analogy. I made a video on it the other day. And the whole principle behind this is your investment is a seed. And that seed, when it becomes more valuable, grows into an apple tree. Take an apple when you need an apple. Don't take the entire thing, because then you will not have the growth that goes along with it. If you don't have the growth that goes along with it, then you're going to miss out. Now, if you decide that it's not for you, that's fine. Like, we're not telling you, and nobody in Volt is telling you how you should invest. We're just saying, if you're going to be part of the community and part of the team, we have this analogy. All of us are actively holding the floor for you. We're doing this so that everything that goes on in this Volt ecosystem is to everyone's benefit. This is a community-driven project, and there is hey, thank you for the $50 bomb, Crypto Chick. I appreciate you. Everything about this is you do what you want, right? If you're not going to be here at the end, you're not going to be here at the end. That's okay. But there is a community, and the community has a belief system, and we try to operate under that belief system. And I showed somebody my wallet the other day, and they were like, "Oh my God, sell!" And I was like, "No, I'm just going to hold. I don't need to. Like, I don't need an apple. You know what I mean? I've been fortunate that I don't need an apple, so I'm going to hold on to it, and I'm going to let my apples grow bigger and bigger and bigger. But the point of it is, you grow your own apple tree, and then Crypto Chick grows her own apple tree, and everybody else grows their own apple tree. And then guess what? Now you have an orchard full of apples, and everybody in the community is fed. And that's kind of the spirit of it. And if you're not part of that spirit, that's fine. Invest and take your money out as you go. Just remember, there's a 13% tax in, a 13% tax out. This is not for day and swing trading. This is for, and by the way, taxes are going to be reduced at some point. So it's not always going to be where it is right now. But for right now, it is. And, you know, do your thing. Make your decision. Maybe it is for you. Maybe it isn't for you. But it is for me. And here we are. So market seems to be fighting back, by the way. Like, as I'm looking at this, like, it's really just starting to it looks like, so we're down on the Dow Jones. We're still, by the way, I think it's broken out. I do think that we've actually broken out on the Dow Jones. Now the question is, can we use this as support and then go off on a run? So that's all right, guys. One more time. We're gonna do this one more time, and one more time, maybe two, maybe one more. But I do have to wrap it up, and I got to go in just a few minutes. But we're gonna do this one more time. Are you ready? There you go. Voltichange is coming for that ass. It's going to burn 0.25% of every transaction for the native token, and 0.25% is going to be used for buyback and burn on Volt Inu itself. This is going to be out of control. And the more volume, and listen, this is DeFi. There's going to be advertising. We are going all in on this thing. We're not, look, this is not a matter of taking over Uniswap. This is not a matter of that. This is a matter of competing and just taking a piece of the pie. When you consider that $58 billion is being traded on DeFi exchanges on some days, and I think yesterday was 15.8 billion. When you consider that, if we could get 1.5, if we could get 10% of that, $1.5 billion in trading volume, just imagine how much that ends up being at the end of this. This is a would be an incredible thing. So yeah, I think everybody should recognize that and realize that this is going to be out of control. So but with that, I got to run early because now I got to go and help somebody out with something a few minutes before work starts. So I'm going to wrap this up about 15 minutes early. This is not financial advice. My name is Bleaves. I am always right. There's content coming out today for Volt. There's content coming out today for Lit. I do have a Terra Luna video coming out today where we talk about each and every one of these things. And tonight at 6 p.m., I will be on Twitter Spaces doing a Utilities in Action Deck and Neck Mega Spaces with a couple of different clients. And then at 8 o'clock, it will be bedtime for Bleaves, and I will be here to tuck that ass in and let you know what you need to know about what happened for the day. And with that, we out, yo. Man, you know what? Damn it. I need to have like a rap song at the end, right?
I'm looking for the good life, sitting on top of the world. I want to be shining like diamonds and pearls. I'm